Hi, my name is David Gawley and I'm the BIM Consultancy Director for Pentagon Solutions. Pentagon is excited to announce a new document management cloud-based product technology called RedEye, which we are offering as part of the Concurrent suite of solutions. The challenge that many owner-operators have is managing the thousands of documents or artifacts, as we call them, in RedEye. Large amounts of data are traditionally assembled from numerous projects and departments such as as-builts, photos, models, and information about assets. Asset owners typically would have data silos and find it difficult to find information due to poor folder hierarchies and naming conventions or a lack of metadata. RedEye solves these challenges by simplifying sharing and collaboration of documentation to all stakeholders, with intuitive metadata and open API for connections to organizations' business systems. The following presentation from our Concurrent partners will demonstrate the functionality and benefits of RedEye. Enjoy the overview.
So as you can see, I've logged in and landed on the main landing page of the RedEye DMS. What we have in the DMS platform is categorizations of a bucket. So a bucket is that single place where all the information is stored. We don't operate on any file repositories or silos of information. It is all in that one single area. What we like to call the common data environment to put all your information in. A single unit of information that's stored in the system is known as an artifact. So an artifact is a drawing or a native file, a Word document or a 3D model that will allow you to then look at the entire life cycle of that asset. So all the previous versions are folded in underneath it. That allows you then to obviously see that continual life cycle of that asset that's there. A way we do segment all the data and information in the bucket that you have is via groups. So groups is a great method to segment information by setting up different ranges of people, as well as a different subset of artifacts that are attributed to that group that's there. This has been really good to set up a new project that will obviously incorporate existing assets that need significant redesign, as well as then issuing templates into that group that allow you then to have that single area to work from. Searching is a fundamental feature in the RedEye DMS bucket. You'll be able to search in a range of different ways. What we have here is a free search text bar that will allow you then to retrieve back any information that has that free text word in the title here. So as we can see, we now have a subset of 4 artifacts that are returned in the search, and you can see that it's in the asset title here, but then not shown in any of the other returns here. So we can then adjust how we view the information by switching to a grid view. It shows you a different way that the information is displayed, or alternatively work through into a map view. So a map view is really important to visualize the assets where they are on the ground. If you have obviously disparate and a range of different areas where your assets are working from. So here we are at the search functionality with the map view loaded in. You can select the map view by toggling down here and selecting map to load. A standard RedEye DMS bucket comes with a Google-based map. This has been integrated with a GIS to allow you then to add in different layers of information that allows you to get context with where your engineering drawings might be held. Different functionality that allows you here to do, you can then select an area, highlight that area, and then search within that boundary to then return back any information that you've also filtered on. So here we can see that we then hit the crosshair to then retrieve back exactly that location that's appended to a crossroad here in Melbourne. You can see here that this artifact has also sitting in a range of different groups, as well as sitting in a as-built and verified workflow. I'll talk through workflows in more detail later on. Cycling back up, there are a number of different ways to view the information that's been retrieved. So you can then move through to a table view that provides you with more metadata to be viewed and retrieved, so you need more information from. So that's basic search. Moving through to filtered search. With filtered search, you have much more control over the information that you're trying to retrieve. You can obviously search by any of the metadata fields that are mapped on the artifacts that are there. So you can filter by group, the asset title, the asset number, as well as the OCR content within the artifact itself. So on upload into RedEye DMS, an OCR content script is run, and all information is passed into the OCR content fields that allows you then to search that OCR content via alphanumeric that's held within a drawing, a document, or an image to then obviously be searched on as well. Discipline, so this will be obviously electrical, civil, mechanical, depending on the type of engineering that discipline you're working in. Status, this will relate to the workflow that the artifact sits in. So this could be obviously a design workflow, as constructed workflow, or then obviously through to an as built and verified. The final three here will be artifact type. So what is it? Is it a CAD drawing? Is it a Word document or a 3D model? And then finally, file type as well. So that will be obviously the suffix of the actual file type itself, be it a DWG or a Word doc or an Excel file. Mapped, that will obviously relate to if it's got a longitude or latitude associated with it. But the key, most powerful filtered search will be metadata. So metadata allows you then to customize any search functionality by selecting different options. So here we have selected that discipline option we've looked at before. We know that it's in a civil discipline, and you have all these Boolean logic denominators as well to make sure it exactly matches, or it must contain, should contain, or must not contain certain parameters that you selected there. So what we do know is that it is a civil discipline and that the asset is also associated with the Brisbane wastewater treatment plant. So we can hit that and then hit search. This will obviously return back any artifacts that have got both of those metadata categories fulfilled and allow you then to obviously view the information that you've retrieved there. This is fully customizable, so you'll be able to add on as many as you want to really drill down to the information that you need to get to. A lot of our customers find this really useful because they have hundreds of thousands of artifacts and drawings in their buckets, and they need to then perform those searches to them on a regular basis to retrieve the information. What you can do is obviously once you've got to that criteria, you can then also save that search, so civil Brisbane, and then that save search will appear then on the left-hand side of the screen under the save searches functionality. On the right we have a QR code that allows you then to generate a QR code from that save search. This is obviously really valuable for as-built assets that are on the ground, where operations and maintenance managers can then print out that QR code and stick it on the side, allowing them then to just turn up to that asset without doing any back office work to find those drawings. They can scan that and then pull up the latest information on that asset that's there in front of them. So the RedEye DMS allows you to search in a range of different ways as shown. We also have a visualized metadata functionality here on the side. This allows you to bring up a pseudo folder structure, which allows you then to filter through any information that you have categorized, be it that in that folder tree. This essentially makes those metadata fields pre-populate to then return those searches as we've shown in the past. This allows different users to be comfortable with obviously searching in RedEye, and if they're used to a traditional folder structure search, then they can have that on the side there to navigate through. So once you've navigated to the artifact that you want to view, you can hit that PDF preview thumbnail there, and then it launches up. This obviously displays the high resolution PDF of the native CAD file that we can see here, which as we can see, this is a DWG, the asset number and title, as well as the workflow that it sits in. So it's in a as-built workflow, and we also can see that green tick, which shows it is the current and approved version to use. Along with the right-hand side here, we have all the mapped metadata fields that obviously relate to all the information that is pertinent to the organisation. This will obviously be configured for you as you move through the adoption process with RedEye. History is really important. So history allows you to compare two drawings, two versions of the same drawing, and allows you then to really quickly reference what has changed over the course of the life cycle of that drawing. So you'll be able to hit overlay, so you can then have a faded overlay between the two drawings or a split side-by-side view to quickly eyeball what has changed over the course of its life cycle. And what we are doing here is actually viewing the native DWG. There is no CAD license required for RedEye users to have access to the information that they need. Another added benefit, you can also view a full visualized timeline of the entire life cycle of the asset, so you can see the drawing in the early stages of design and drafting, right through to the approved versions, and then obviously to the as-built, and then obviously operated and maintained drawings. Really important for if there's any incidents on site, you can then obviously trace back to who touched the drawing last and when that incident might have occurred, and what obviously version they were working with at the time. We can move now through to linked drawing. So linked artifacts are information that obviously relates to the 2D drawing we have here. So we have a image of bent pins that are in the module there, as well as a PDF of the operating manual that is associated with the drawing that's there. So you can quickly gather the information that you need that is all related to that same asset on the ground. RedEye supports the ability to have concurrent engineering, so we have the functionality to allow child artifacts to be spawned off from the main as-built that's in the system there. This child artifact is obviously sitting in a different workflow to carry out a range of design and drafting elements on it, whilst the main as-built is still available and accessible to all the teams that might want to carry out any day-to-day or routine maintenance on the asset there. This child artifact will most likely sit in a new group and be appended with a range of other project files that obviously relate to the information and assets that are going to be going through that project. What I'll do now is run you through the two ways that RedEye allows you to carry out markup on your artifact in selection here. So in RedEye EDMS, every artifact sits within a workflow. As we can see here, this is the as-built workflow, and we can see it is the current approved version. So from this button here, we can then launch the workflow to view it. Now these are fully customizable with your RedEye instance. You'll be allowed to obviously run through with our establishment team a range of different work groups and workshops to pick apart any business requirements when looking through any best practices for management of your engineering drawings. And these can all be mapped to customized workflows that we can help you build. As we can see here, there's two options on this drawing here. We've got create a new child artifact, as we showed before, that we can then obviously push through into a new workflow, which is obviously the drafting and approvals or detailed design. But what I'll be running through with you later on will be the red pen markup. So this would be a very common thing for operations and maintenance teams to do when they're reviewing and assessing a current as-built asset. So this would then step you through the right approvals process to then move through to push it out for then redrafting and black line editing. So RedEye EDMS enables you to carry out markup in two different ways. We have the traditional way to print a high resolution PDF of that native CAD file that we're viewing here. You can hit print. This would generate a QR code in the corner of the drawing here, which will allow you then for a quick reference to scan that on a mobile device and to then verify if you are working off the latest version in RedEye. What you can do then is obviously print this off and then mark up with any kind of red pen or features and tools that you have to make your edits. You will then be prompted to or initiated to scan this file back in, which would then obviously to a certain email address, and then that will then sync and trigger that next stage in the workflow as we saw before. What we encourage most of our customers to do is to carry out on-screen markups, and this launches a new window which has then a range of tools to carry out your markup on. So we have here pencils, lines, clouds, magic erasers, text, shapes and symbols. What we have as well is a custom stamp library that will allow you then to quickly put on any custom stamps that are specific to your organisation, and then allow you then to fill those out, reducing any human error or delays with getting those back to the right people for approval. We also have a standard symbol library. This would obviously come with your instance of DMS, but you could also upload any standard symbols that you use within your organization. Once you've carried out a markup that you're happy with, you say you've highlighted the information that you need to change, and you've also added some text to provide context and information with what's needed. You then hit save and come back to a later date, or hit submit, which would then trigger the next stage of the workflow. As you saw as well, there is a comments field to obviously provide any contextual information to the person who will be then approving the markup that's been carried out. So as we saw in the workflow stage, there are a number of notifications and informations that get triggered through to the next round in this workflow. Allows then the right people to be notified to then carry out any review and approvals work that's needed. So as we can see here, we're now currently still on that as-built workflow, but we're not in the most current approved version because that was the version that we were working off initially. I am also on the panel for going to the review element. As you can see that I've done the red pen markup and now it's through to review. So I'll hit review tool, which then launch that marked up version of the drawing as needed. If I'm happy with that, I can then hit approve and then move through to the next step. Again, that next step will trigger the next people who need to pick up the element of the work to be carried out, to then obviously make sure that the drawing is kept as up to date as possible with native changes carried out on it as well. So as we can see, we're now working off a PNG version of the file. The next stage, as we've mentioned, will be to check out for drafting, which would obviously allow you to download the full native CAD file, any associated information with it that's needed, as well as then obviously the marked up version to then review against and edit to. So RedEye has a range of dashboards for any managers and approvers to view the information that's in the bucket that needs work and attention. As you can see here, we've got the current marked up version of the artifact we were just looking at out for drafting. So this obviously has been updated just 1 minute ago, and this obviously would have triggered a range of different inboxes to then pick up that work to then be moved into to go out for drafting. We also have the approvals dashboard. This is the one where we went through the review tool and then pushed through to that approval stage as well. So here again, you can look at and view all the information that all the current work that's requiring reviews and approvals to then move through to the next stage. Zooming out a bit further, we have the generic overview dashboard of the entire bucket. So this allows you to have a complete handle on all the information that's stored within your bucket here. You can see that they've got the total number of artifacts, new uploaded information this week, as well as obviously main tools and actions that you might need to do, such as invite a new user, perform any cleanup on the metadata of new artifacts that have been uploaded, as well as look at the general data quality and health of the information that's in the bucket there. So as we've run through a native DWG file, we can also see here that there are a range of different file types that RedEye DMS supports. We do have Office 365 integration that allows you then obviously to store Word, PowerPoint, Excel files in RedEye itself, as well as obviously control those documents based on requirements that you have. What I'll do now is take you through a 3D model. So here we have a Navisworks model of a pumping station. You can see it sits in the 3D models group, and it is the current approved version that is available for people to view and look at. You have a range of different tools to obviously navigate and move around to view and access the information that's there. What we can do as well is zoom in and find any attributes and information and properties that are obviously picked up from the model hierarchy as well. So we can see here that we're looking at a valve. That's a 3-inch valve, and it is obviously different specs and pressure classes as well associated with. So that's all been picked up from the 3D model that sits behind the visual here. Alternatively, you can look at the model hierarchy on the model tree here, and then obviously drill down to all the information elements that you might want to look at. We'll now transition to an iPad to show how RedEye looks and works natively on mobile. So as we can see here, we've loaded in our single line diagram that we were working off before. we can see that the markup I've just submitted online is also being updated here, but I can also provide any more edits using the functionality that is very similar to what we have on the desktop as shown. You have the ability obviously to add more features such as text, as mentioned, so you can say here close switches, and we can obviously change different things, add any symbols or stamps as we've shown previously, and move through to also append any photographs that you might want to take as part of your markup. Very similar process. You would then hit submit, and then it will trigger the next stages of the workflow.
You can see from that presentation the powerful functionality of RedEye to support the complex requirements of asset-intensive industries, enabling digital integration. RedEye also integrates numerous business-critical systems such as DIS and asset management technologies via APIs. For more information, please contact Pentagon Solutions. Thanks for watching this presentation.